Welcome to the 8th episode of Cooking for Wellness at NYU Langone Health. Today we are focusing on plant-based cooking. Again, specifically with healthier substitutions and modifications to the recipe. We're always looking for new and exciting ways to keep plant-based cooking interesting, and that often leads to all types of international cuisines. We're making a Caribbean-inspired mofongo, a dish originated in Puerto Rico made of unripe green plantains, typically fried, and then mashed in mortar and pestle with olive oil, garlic, and salt. It is often served with roasted pork, beef, or pork cracklings, but today we are making an amazing vegetarian version with summer squash, chickpeas, and fire-roasted tomatoes. We're also going to avoid deep fat frying entirely and boil the plantains instead. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we did is we went ahead and made our sofrito. So in Caribbean cooking, a sofrito is usually a mix of blended, very aromatic ingredients. Peppers, onion, garlic, cilantro, olive oil, and ground annatto seed. So to start up our vegetable stew, we added a little bit of olive oil to our pot, and we went ahead and add the sofrito right to the pot. So we're gonna keep that on low to medium heat. We're gonna slowly begin to saute the sofrito. You really get some really wonderful smells coming from the pot right now. We're not gonna give it too long, just a couple, 2-3 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and add some white onion, some yellow pepper, red pepper, and green pepper. These are bell peppers, sweet, almost zero spice. Go ahead and saute this. So we're building layers of flavor here without meat involved. You really got to take the time to carefully add the layers. We always season as we go. I'm going to saute this for about 5 to 7 minutes. Once the vegetables begin to soften, we're going to go ahead and add our yellow squash and zucchini. Yellow squash and zucchini have become a very common vegetable that you can get year-round in the supermarket. But if you actually are able to purchase them from a farmer's market in the summer, they're absolutely wonderful. We're gonna go ahead and add our tomato paste and allow it to caramelize with the vegetables. Once again, another intricate step in building the flavor layers is allowing the tomato paste to caramelize. All right, after you have some really nice caramelization on the tomato paste, we're gonna go ahead and add our fire roasted tomatoes. This is a 28-ounce can, very easy to get at a grocery store. The fire roasted tomatoes gives it an extra bit of depth, just really helps elevate the recipe. And the chickpeas. Once we mix this together well, we're gonna set the heat on a nice low to medium flame. We're just gonna allow that to simmer. While that simmers, we're going to take care of our plantains. We do this directly into cold, salted water to prevent them from oxidizing. So one of the things I found is they are difficult to peel when they're not ripe. So I use this little palette knife where I take the end off, and rather than a sharp knife, which will actually cut into the flesh too deeply, this is more like a spatula, basically. So it has a flat edge, and I found that I could honestly peel them pretty easily like this. So rather than struggle with the knife, maybe find a more dull-edged kitchen tool and see if you can just kind of peel off. Cut them into about 2-inch pieces right into the water. We let that come up to a boil and we simmered for about 25 to 30 minutes. And now it looks like our plantains are just about tender and ready to go. You can test for doneness with a small paring knife or a skewer. We'll go ahead and fish them out. We're gonna get started on mashing them. I'm gonna transfer them to this bowl. Have some fresh oregano. I'll peel it right off. Just put it in there whole. Just tear off the leaves. Some fresh cracked pepper. A little bit of salt. And we have some olive oil that I actually roasted some garlic. And a lot of people add raw garlic to this, or in this case, we just basically infused an olive oil with garlic. It smells wonderful. Maybe even go ahead and put a couple of those cloves right in there. You want to mash it, make sure it's well incorporated, but not too much. Right about good. The plantains can be tricky because they will get dry. So feel free to taste, and if you think it needs a little bit more olive oil, add more, or I even go ahead and add some of the cooking liquid to moisten it. We are ready to go. This was just one example of vegetable substitution, but you can replace the meat in your favorite recipe with beans or lentils and make vegetables the focus of the dish. Plant-based diets can offer the necessary protein, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals for optimal health, all with a lighter environmental footprint. Thanks for tuning in. Join us next month for more cooking videos on the NYU Langone Health YouTube page.